Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and tonight I have a cute single page layout for you that really focuses on using primarily cardstock. In our brand new idea book, we have these cute cards using our Rain or Shine Stampin' Thin Cut set, and I'll be showing you those a little more closely at the end of the video. But up in the corner, we have this really cute layout. I fell in love with the colors and the style, and they focused on primarily cardstock strips and doing treatments on those strips. So we have a brand new set of 4x4 embossing folders. This is Swiss Dot, and it has a coordinating Swiss Dot stencil, and then there is a bitty floral 4x4 embossing folder and coordinating stencil as well. So we're going to be doing some treatments with those, and then a little bit with some sandpaper, some rubbing of some ink. They also used a little bit of white gel pen and just did all kinds of different treatments to make cardstock interesting. It's our cardstock carnival right now, and all of our cardstock is on sale, so it's a perfect time to feature layouts that features primarily cardstock. Now, I did use our seasoned mix-ins for the base of this layout and also on a couple of the die cuts here in the Rain or Shine stamp set. Love the umbrella, the boots, and the flowers, so I created the base of the umbrella out of white daisy, and then I created the top of the umbrella again out of the seasoned mix-ins dot pattern. I also created boots out of the seasoned mix-ins dot pattern, stamped it in intense black, and did a little tri-blend coloring with the vintage blue tri-blend marker. I created a 1 3/4 by 2.5 inch dovetailed tag and added a sentiment to it, and then I created these flowers on white daisy using dull green marker, tri-blend marker, pale pink, light yellow tri-blend markers, and I did very simple shading. I went in with light, colored on the lines with medium, and went back in with light and made it super simple. Really easy coloring there. Now, I love the large Stampin' Thin Cut set, and I also actually added, we have some dimensional shapes. Everyone's waiting for them to come back. They literally sold out in what seemed like minutes right when they debuted, and they're scheduled to come back, but all of the shapes in this set are stitched. So we have this stitched scallop square. There are stitched hearts, stitched circles, stitched banners. We have some stitched tabs in there. These are actually stitched arrows, but they make cute little houses. There's stitched flowers. So many shapes in this set, and it's so fun. But everyone wants it, and so be watching the shop site for that. That will be coming back very soon. I think, don't quote me, it may not be coming back till April, but it could be coming back yet here in March. So we're going to be using 2 3x4 photos, and they use this cute rain series on theirs. I'm actually using this duck photo of Hattie Elaine, my granddaughter. I've done some photos with the ducks before, but not these two of just Hattie Elaine. Her eyes are in awe. She's so in love with the little duck. Now, this rain scene that I created this wreath layout with, and I'll link this process video in the description, would have been great for this layout, but I actually already used that, and I really just wanted to use these two duck photos, and I felt like it still went really well with the spring theme with the umbrella and the boots and the flowers. And so we're going to actually create this base layout with some white daisy cardstock, but first, in their layout, I think they actually used a different side of this cardstock, but the clouds just went so well with this. So I'm actually gutting a 12 by 12 piece of that seasoned mix-ins. Yep, they actually used that gingham, which is adorable, but I actually used that gingham in the previous layout that I just showed you with the wreath style, and I'm going to use it because I feel I'm going to use the clouds because I feel like it goes with the rain boots and the umbrella. Now I'm going to add onto that gutted frame a piece of sapphire that I believe it's 8 by 10.5. And then I'm going to have this gutted frame in the background. To gut a frame, you cut from 1 inches to 11 inches all the way around so that you can conserve the inside of that piece and not have to use that whole background piece. So what we're actually going to do is offset this 8 by 10.5 piece of cardstock in the upper right, and then offset a missed piece of cardstock of that same size, 8 by 10.5 in the lower left, and then we're going to lay a white daisy over the top. It's actually going to be flush on the top of the missed cardstock with about a 1/2 inch showing on the bottom and the left, and then a 1/2 inch showing on the sapphire cardstock as well. And it just makes a really interesting background to have those two pieces toggled. Now feel free, if you wanted to, you could probably do some gutting of those corners and conserve some of that in the middle, but I actually just left it whole on this particular layout. Now these pieces of cardstock are 2 1/4 by 8.5, and I changed the colors up in mine a little bit. I added Seabrook in there because I chose to use the Seabrook background, the Seabrook clouds. So I have a 2 1/4 by 8.5 Seabrook cardstock, limeade cardstock, periwinkle cardstock, and sapphire cardstock for my backgrounds. And then of course I cut that journal square, scallop journal square out of white daisy. So it looks to me like the treatments that they've done on these are using those embossing folders. So I actually want to start with the sapphire, and I'm actually going to emboss it with the Bitty Floral, and I'm going to sand that with a little piece of cardstock, or my rub that so that that white core shows through. Then I've embossed the limeade with that Swiss dot embossing folder, and then I've done the same thing. I've sanded that so that those raised pieces show the white core cardstock through. Now on the periwinkle cardstock, I'm going to take periwinkle ink, a periwinkle stamp pad, and a blending brush, and we're just going to add a little bit of periwinkle to the upper left, run that all the way down so that it ends up on the lower right. There's no right or wrong, just some rubbing that's a little lighter, some rubbing that's a little darker, to really create this interesting background. I love that the embossing gives it texture, and then with the stenciling, it adds a lot of color and interest to the background. So now we've treated 3 of those strips. On this last strip, we're actually just going to run along the long edge with a 10. That you have different white gel pens, and this is a 10 pen. I think we have an 8 and a 10 and a 5, I think. And so we're going to run along one side just to add a tiny little bit of interest to that. So cool to have each of those strips with that added texture. And then we're going to center that on the white daisy piece. But first what we're going to do is we're going to add a teeny tiny bit of shimmer brush. So I'm kind of experimenting here with the color of the shimmer brush. I wasn't quite sure if I should go with maybe a Seabrook shimmer brush, or if I should go with a sapphire shimmer brush. I decided to go lighter. I decided to go with Seabrook, and not very much of this is going to show at all. And you can do more. You can do some like in the upper right. You can do some in the lower left around where the boots are going to be. You can do some in each corner. There isn't very much of the white that's going to show because the strips are going to be in the middle. So I've actually mounted a piece of 10 1/4 by 10 1/4 white daisy, and I've toggled that white daisy in between those cardstock pieces that we talked about earlier, and now I'm going to center it on the whole base. It's going to be so cute. And I actually think, yeah, I wanted to make sure, let's see, 10 and a fourth by 10 and a fourth. Yeah. The reason I made that 10 and a fourth by 10 and a fourth is so that if you gut your frame in the background, it will still give you coverage. So now we're going to arrange those strips and center those vertically so that there's a little bit more. We're only going to have about a little more than 1/4 of an inch or about 1/4 of an inch on either side, left and right, but we're going to have a little bit more white space on the top and bottom, and that's the design. And we're going to get those centered and get those in place, and I'm showing you here about where I'm starting that first strip. So you can see here on my Versamat that I'm my measurements where I'm starting on the left and the right. And I'm just going to kind of use my ruler across both of those numbers so that I can actually get them a little even on the top. It can be a little daunting to be able to get those even, and I'm spacing those about 1/4 of an inch apart. And so we're just going to see if we can get those even and get those balanced. And it's coming together. It's such pretty colors. I love this color combination. Feels like spring to me. It just has the perfect color combinations in there. Loving that. Okay, I went a little lighter with the Seabrook. They had actually, I believe they had pine in there or maybe rosemary. They had darker colors, but I loved adding the Seabrook so that it could coordinate a little bit better with the Seabrook cloud background. I'm actually pulling this up and getting it a little closer. I got a little too much of a gap, a little too much of a space there. It's looking great. Loving that. Okay, looks good. There we go. Now we have this great background, and I'm just going to fuss with it a little longer. Okay, I'm getting there. Just doing a little straightening here and just making sure I have some even spacing. Sorry, I thought that I had it exactly the way I wanted it, and I'm taking another run at it. So working at it to get it kind of straight, and then I'm happier with that. Okay, great base. So now I've added that sentiment in intense black on the dovetailed piece, and that is 1 3/4 by 2.5. We'll just stick that up to the upper left and have a tiny little title. Sometimes we always feel like we have to have this big title across the bottom, and it's actually fine to have a cute little title in that upper left corner there. So now I'm going to toggle these photos of Hattie Elaine and her little face. She's my little one who would love to be a vet. I was kind of feeling like maybe adding some extra color underneath and sort of adding a little bit of another coordinating color, and I play around with that idea, and I just don't think it's necessary. I think it looks really nice just with this sapphire. So I've added an 1/8 inch photo mat under there, 4 1/8 by 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I just really feel like it's not necessary to add any more pattern under there. I love it just the way it is, and I'm going to end up leaving it. But I do try to bring that in and tie in the yellow, like the yellow in the duck. But I think I can bring in some yellow with a tiny sticker or two. And I think that will sort of help coordinate those colors in the photos. Again, trying it one more time. Oh my goodness, sometimes I crack myself up. Okay, so I did put foam tape between the layers in the umbrella, and I did use those same markers on the handle. So it's a little bit of that vintage gray. I may have brought in a little tan or a little brown for that handle. And then I'm going to arrange the flowers. The flowers are going to be popped on top of the boots with foam tape. And I just took a little bit of the vintage blue marker and did just the toes of the boots and the little clasps on the top and the side of the boots that are just going to show a tiny little bit. And then we'll just arrange the umbrella and the boots, and then we'll have the sentiment piece come off to the side. And I don't have a ton to say about this. It was just one little moment in time where she was just fascinated and being so gentle with the duck, and She is a 4-H girl, and she has bunnies, and she wants to have sheep and other animals, and she's in gymnastics right now. So her mom and dad have said that she can't do her animals and be in gymnastics. She has to choose because it's a lot of responsibility, and she has to be there to be able to care for them. So she's having a hard time deciding, but I have a feeling the animals are going to win. She is an animal lover. So now I have some little leftover stickers on the Honey Bunny sticker sheet, and I found this little yellow one that says sunshine. I think that's going to be perfect to tie in the yellow from the cute little duck. And then I think we can use some of these other extra little pieces for some added elements. It's a really simple, cute page. It doesn't need much, but here's this little arrow that we can put on the bottom and maybe find another sticker. Pull in some of the lime green. This little sticker says so sweet. And then I'm thinking with the journaling there, instead of just having the journaling by itself coming off the side, there's some extra banners on the sticker sheet. And I thought maybe we could have some banners coming out from underneath the sentiment, and then of course add a few little maybe stickers or some dots to embellish around. And I'm thinking about maybe using the limeade dots, using the green dots. I'm trying to coordinate and make the heart work, and I'm not liking it. I'm just not loving it. I think using some banners underneath the journaling square will work out much better. And then it also adds for some little words that toggle and offset welcome spring. So you have welcome spring in the upper left, and it draws your eye down across to those word banners across if you put word banners on the bottom. So I'm going to add this is the life banner, the love banner, and then there's a little teeny tiny green banner that just says happy, and tie in a little bit of green there. All kinds of little spring sentiments on those banners. Yes, I like that so much better. It's coming together. I'm almost getting happy. I think we need, I think we'll use some of the lime dots and maybe do some clusters of 3, and maybe do a little visual triangle. So maybe put some of the lime green dots in the lower right, and then put some over by the boots, and then put some up on the top where the sentiment is. And I think I'm loving it. And I will be happy with that little bit of embellishments. I'm looking at it to see if it needs more. And sometimes I have, the instinct to just add more. But I think with this, less is more. I love the texture of the treatments. I love the colors. I love the tiny bit of pattern paper around the outside and on the umbrellas and on the boots. I love that the flowers are nice and soft. I love that it's simple and it's understated, and I'm getting happy. I really hope that you have enjoyed all of the videos that I've been posting recreating the artwork from this idea book cycle. I'm really happy that I'm doing it since it is our last idea book cycle under the umbrella of Close to My Heart. I'm hoping that we still have some great quality Close to My Heart products under the Stampin' Up! Umbrella, but I'm really happy that I recreated a lot of this artwork in this idea book, and I'll link in the description 75 pieces of artwork that I recreated out of this idea book, including these adorable cards. So I love this. The only change that I made with this card is I did do a little more coloring on the flowers, and then did a little shading in on the sentiment there. I loved it just the way that it was. Love the boot card here. The only thing I did is I added a little bit of vintage blue tri-blend marker on the tips of the boots and on the buckles of the boots. Such a cute card, so easy. I love how they toggled the pieces on the card just like they toggled the pieces on the scrapbooking layout. This one, a simple banner card. Love it just the way way it is. Just added the treatments on the cardstock with some of that stenciling on the cardstock, and then colored the flowers in, and otherwise I left that just the same as the featured artwork. So many cute pieces in this collection. I love rain or shine Stampin' Thin Cuts and creating those treatments directly on cardstock. Won't you take a moment to hit subscribe and the notifications bell and shoot me a comment, and I'll be sure to link the supplies used in the description, as well as some other process videos that I have out of artwork that I've created from this this idea book, and I hope you love it. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned. Up next in the upcoming videos, I have another Gnomes for Spring scrapbooking layout for you that is so adorable. We're going to have so much fun. Stay tuned right here on Snips by Kelly. See you soon. Bye-bye.